Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Marlene Marks, bringing you news from Israel Monday to Thursday, and how we're all doing. I know for many of us in lockdown at the moment, the days are starting to really seem to bleed into each other, and many of us don't know if it's Monday or Thursday, but I have it on good authority that today is Thursday. And I hope you're all doing well. I've just returned from a replay of our President Reuven Rivlin, doing his weekly story time. This week the story was about Shmulik the Kipod, or Shmulik the Hedgehog, and it's just one of the things that he's doing to help parents just have a few minutes off from dealing with their children who might be feeling anxious, and especially for the children who just enjoy this downtime with our very special president. But let's have a look at what the top stories making headlines are today. Israel's confirmed cases of corona at the moment stand at 6,211. This is largely due to a high volume or high increase in the amount of testing. Yesterday, Israel conducted nearly 8,000 COVID-19 tests. And sadly, the death toll has risen to 33. And wherever you are in the world, if you are struggling through this virus, or you've lost somebody to this virus, or anybody who has suffered some loss, our thoughts, our prayers are with you all, and our hope is that all those who have passed, may their memories be blessed. Over the last couple of days, there has been a lot of controversy over what is happening with the ultra-Orthodox in the city of Bnei Brak. Yesterday, the mayor of Ramat Gan threatened that unless the town or the part of Tel Aviv known as Bnei Brak, where there are many ultra-Orthodox, is sealed off, if that's not done, he will petition the High Court for a court order. However, last night, in his weekly address to the nation, Prime Minister Netanyahu, in his update about the situation with COVID, announced that as of today, Bnei Brak will be cordoned off and entry and exit will be limited. The IDF have set up checkpoints to ensure and to check who comes in or out. Some 38% of Bnei Brak are known to be COVID-19 positive, and a disproportionate amount of COVID-19 patients in Israel come from the ultra-Orthodox community, and everything is being done in our power to try and keep them safe and contain the spread. And one of the reasons that there is so high an infection rate is that traditionally these communities don't have access to cell phones or technology or television, and therefore the information that they need is not necessarily filtering through. But there have been a lot of attempts made in conjunction with the government, with leaders of the community, to educate the community about the importance of social distancing. Last night, Prime Minister Netanyahu came out of bidud, or quarantine, and it was made public this morning that Health Minister Litzman and his wife have tested positive for COVID-19, although both share very light symptoms. But because the Prime Minister has been meeting with Health Minister Litzman, he now has to go back into bidud, or in quarantine. So those are all your COVID-19 updates for the day. From the West Bank, we have a total of 155 confirmed cases, and we're still waiting on those stats to see if there are any more fatalities. In other news, talks for a unity coalition government will resume today. The two big issues on the table right now is who will assume the role of Speaker of the Knesset and who will assume the role of Justice Minister. Now, last week, Speaker of the Knesset, Yuli Edelstein, quit very, very controversially after he refused to adhere to the Supreme Court's ruling that he holds an election. Now, the Likud faction are adamant that Edelstein should return to his position as Speaker. However, the blue and white are adamant he doesn't. So hopefully these issues will be ironed out. Many are of the opinion that Prime Minister Netanyahu is trying to stall this as long as possible so that it runs out of Benny Gantz's 28 days to form a coalition. And Benny Gantz has threatened that they will put on all the pressure when they get the Justice Ministry if Prime Minister Netanyahu doesn't come to the table. So while this is going on, there's still drama with regards to these negotiations. But we end the week on a good news story. As we've been saying over the last couple of weeks, Israel doesn't leave anyone behind, not on the battlefield and not our stranded citizens. And today, very, very emotional to see footage of the maiden El Al flight landing in Melbourne, Australia to rescue some 280 stranded Israelis. It was quite extraordinary to see this plane coming in with a herd of kangaroos in the foreground, and just very, very special. So wherever we have citizens, be it in Peru, Colombia, Nigeria, wherever they are in the world, here in this case Australia, we will not leave them behind. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, I know Netflix and chill, or read Lay of the Land. Check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. You can read about Stephen Schulman's visit to the north and some of the communities he met up there. You can also check it out on our Facebook page. Give us a like or a follow. Our community is really, really growing, and we'd love you to be a part of it. And see where we are tomorrow for Shabbat. We sneak off to a different part of the country, this time virtually, because we can't go there because we're all in lockdown. And also, if you would prefer to watch the Israel Brief on YouTube, we have a channel at the Israel Brief. Simply click on the subscribe button and you'll be notified every time we post a brief. So this is the end of this week's broadcast. I'm wishing you a safe and a healthy weekend. And from all of us at Lay of the Land, Shabbat Shalom. This is the Israel Brief, and we'll chat again next week.